Okay, today we're playing a game on the Temple of Anubis. We are in the Platinum SR range, and we will be playing Winston the entire way through. And our current team composition is Winston, Genji, Widowmaker, McCree, Lucio, and Zenyatta. So basically we have a dive comp, but McCree didn't get the memo, and he should be the one to change, because... Now, Widow does fit more within a dive comp than McCree does, as counterintuitive as it might sound. Because Widow, sitting really far away, either drops people low, whereupon they are finished off by Winston and Genji, or Widowmaker is finishing off the low health people because Winston and Genji have been in there. So really, McCree should be the one to change to Zarya or D.Va. Because you might say, well, can't McCree kind of do the same thing? Yeah, but he can't get up onto high ground, and he's way shorter range than a sniper, so he is the one that should change to a tank out of the team composition-wise. So in the accompanying email today, we have some broad questions about the game, but we have a specific one. Can you talk about defense and how to defend on maps like Hanamura, etc., 2CP as Winston? So... basically, the trick is to be a lot more patient than usual, because the traditional textbook mistake that Winston and D.Va players make as well is that they just sort of jump on the enemy as soon as they see them, but it's the whole attacking team that's over there. Now, the thing is with the attacking team is way more likely to have things like Genji and Tracer on it, or Sombra, or some such. And those are the people you should immediately try and figure out if the attacking team has any of them. And you should really focus on them if you're playing Winston, because you can kill Genji and Sombra very easily. And you can't kill Tracer very easily, but you can zone her off and make her life difficult. So if you're defending on a 2CP map, or any map as Winston, you should try and figure out if they have them first and just really focus on them. Now, the other thing is that the attacking team, they are more likely to leave their healers behind, because what tends to happen for the attacking team is that their healers sit as far back as possible while the rest of their team walks forward, and they try to stay as far back as possible. If you're playing Winston or D.Va, you can jump on those people as soon as the rest of the team engages, and... the attacking, they're not going to be helping them, right? The fucking Genji Tracer are not going to peel back to try and help their supports, right? So, if they're relatively divey, and they've got healers back there, you just kill their healers. And then, if their healers are dead, they can't win the fight, because that's just how the game is. So there's that. The attacking team's healers are usually more isolated, and therefore easier to kill for somebody like Winston if you're defending. The thing is, though, just be patient, and the people, they just, as soon as they see the enemy team, they jump right in on them. You have to actually, wait and play pretty passively, because Winston isn't the kind of hero that can just sort of jump into 6 people, do his thing, and then jump out again, because the enemy team just turns on you and kills you. So you have to wait. And yeah, it's the same as attacking, basically, where you have to wait and see what the enemy team is doing, and then you try and kill the isolated members or the people that you're really good at killing. It's the same, really. You just have to be more patient, because the attacking team is the team that has the initiative, always, because the defending team ain't going anywhere, are they? So you just have to wait and see what they are doing, and then respond to it. Whereas if you're attacking, you get to decide what you're doing, and then the defending team has to respond to you. You have to wait and respond to them if you're defending as Winston. Or D.Va, similar hero. The similar heroes, though D.Va has more range than Winston, so people don't tend to struggle as much. But basically, be patient, see what they're doing, and then respond to it appropriately. And you're still playing Winston. So you have a very set game plan, basically, which is kill the people that I'm really good at killing, and if I can't get to them, just kill whoever's out of position, and if I can't do any of them, just fill space and, tase their Reinhardt or something while you're waiting, basically. You will feel like you're not necessarily doing very much at various points if you're defending as Winston, because you spend a lot of time waiting around, basically, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're doing nothing at the same time, because if you're waiting around near your backline and they've got a Genji and a Tracer, well, you waiting around with your backline is scaring the Genji and the Tracer from approaching. So even though you're not actively doing damage or trying to kill people, you just being there is affecting how the enemy team is playing. So you're still doing something. Patience, basically. Enough rambling, let's start the game. Just be a patient boy. I slapped the space key, but then the fucking video wasn't selected, so nothing happened. It was very, very anticlimactic. So we're attacking Anubis first, which is always very fun. So we've jumped up here and we've figured out they have a Widow. Get down immediately after seeing the Widow, because you are and also, like, turn around. Big thing with Winston is that your head hitbox is basically the entire front of your model, so as soon as you figured out there's a Widow, you want to, like, turn around and get down so that she doesn't shoot you in the head. So now we figured out that they have a Widow, so obviously this is our principal concern. We've, jumped in here. Their team, they have Winston D.Va as their tank, so Soldier kind of by himself, basically, and we can just jump from target to target. Now we're harassing the, Mercy. Widow actually finished off the, Soldier because he was getting healed. Now we've gone back out because we're low health. Both their healers are dead. D.Va's just lost their mech. Some of their DPS are already dead. They've lost this point. That's just how it is. Oh, look, here's Winston. Hooray. So, everything went swimmingly. They had a very divey team comp as well, but they also had Soldier Widowmaker, so unfortunately, the rest of their team was diving, so we just got to jump on their static defenders and kill them. So it was very easy. Now, we've almost got Primal Rage. 65% might not seem like a lot, but you have to account for the fact that Winston is hitting everybody he sees, so it tends to build pretty quickly. Oh, the cursor's been on the screen the whole time. Oh my god. So we're up to some shit, really, going all the way around here. We spotted Sombra. Sombra's dead. I thought she teleported away. She's actually just fucking dead. She just got straight executed right in front of us. So as you can see, this is just a fairly textbook roll over the enemy team. We came over here, we had Dragon Blade, McCree had Deadeye, though that's not the greatest ultimate in the world. They are a team that is very bad at defending, because they had Sombra, Tracer, you know, and then 2 dive tanks, so they didn't exactly have the greatest defending team comp. No, I'm already telling you what happened. So, no. Look, you're not wrong, your D.Va lost mech, then we rolled in, but, like, they have nothing to hold you back with. Their team is such low presence, because first checkpoint, alright, 2 dive tanks, Soldier, Widowmaker. If they're getting dove on, they aren't doing very much, and their tanks are not making any space for them because they're 2 aggressive tanks. So, well, that can make space for them, but we're also an aggressive team, right? So we just bypass their dive tanks and killed their static defenders, because everybody's mobile except the static defenders like Soldier and Widowmaker. Widowmaker's kind of mobile, but like not when Genji, Winston, and another Widowmaker are trying to kill you. It doesn't quite, the hook shot's not enough at that point. So they have a really low presence team, because they've got these 2 long-range static defenders with a dive comp. The rest of the team is divey, so no one's making space for them. We just roll in, kill them. And then, second checkpoint, Team Comp gets even less presence on it, because they changed to Sombra and Tracer. Actually, they had a Tracer on the first checkpoint as well, didn't they? So they have Sombra and Tracer. So they have 2 flankers. But we're still playing an aggressive team, right? So we just jump in and kill the rest of their team, and then fucking Sombra and Tracer aren't about to suddenly fend you off unless they're absolute gods. So they just had a really low presence team, and 2 dive tanks with not the appropriate DPS to back them up, so we get to just roll over them. That's what actually happened, Peaches. It wasn't just that D.Va lost mech. Their team comp was really, really bad for fighting against our team comp. So, now we're kind of going into a similar trap, but we just have a lot of fucking DPS instead, right? Because we got Genji, Widow, and McCree. Now, McCree can at least kill flankers, right? Which is more than can be said, well, more reliably kill flankers, which cannot necessarily be said of Soldier. And then the rest of our team is still... we basically still have a dive comp on defense, which is fine. You can have a dive comp on defense. It's just, if you have half of a dive comp and half of a static comp, those two don't go together, and the enemy team can just kill the static components and then worry about the dive afterwards. Or kill the dive first if the dive section goes out of position and goes too aggressively. So, our Widow killed their Widow, but now their Widow's alive again. Genji wasn't allowed to do that. Genji's dead now because Winston found him. So we're gonna go for the Widow, but the Widow's already dead, actually, so never mind. And Widow just got dove by Winston, but our Widow fought him off, and then McCree was able to kill D.Va, because McCree is quite good at killing D.Va. So as you can see, a bunch of fights happened throughout the entirety of the map, and all of our team won their fights, so... easy money. So I'm okay with us doing this because the enemy team is respawning right now. Their spawn is very close, but, you know, they gotta get out here. And now we can get back out again, because their team, they can't exactly stop us, right? They don't have a lot of hard crowd control or big burst damage, so we get to just leave again. Normally going out there is an illegal maneuver, but they all happened to be respawning at the time, so, and they couldn't really do much. Like, it's not like we're gonna suddenly get hooked or anything, so it's fine. So really, we should be looking harder for Genji and Widowmaker, because they are obviously within our area, and if we kill them, they have no DPS. Even if we just kill one, right? So we should, like, really be looking for them. The Widow's dead right now. I think Genji also is currently dead, so now it is not an issue, but we should, like, really be looking for them. So... hanging out in the street isn't usually a great idea, but we're playing Winston, so we can leave pretty quickly if we have to. We messed up our jump. Oh, look, their Widow just killed 2 people, so that's bad news for us. Zenyatta's using Transcendence, but unfortunately, like, we've lost half of our team, and they have a dive comp now, right? So they actually, like, have a dive comp, because they've also got Genji, Widow, Winston, D.Va, so they also have a dive comp. And when the dive comp starts getting momentum, it tends to be difficult to stop them. That's sort of the point. So Widow killing Genji and Lucio basically sets up the rest of that fight for disaster. And there's not much you as Winston can do to stop that, other than, you know, I guess kill Widow before she got the 2 picks, but that's not really realistic. So, yeah, if Widow gets 2 picks on your team before the fight even starts, you're not really meant to win the fight anymore. It's just one of those things that you kinda have to take on the chin. So, we're hanging out, you know, in the position that Winstons and Reapers like to hang out on in this map. We have Primal Rage, so we can kind of just keep fighting without really much regard for safety right now, and, oh, look at that, the rest of their team has just kind of died somewhere off-screen. Hooray. We should, like, really be looking for Widow and Genji, though. We're kind of just, like, going around tasing whoever we can find, which is typically the supports, but, like, we should be looking for Widow and Genji, because if we just kill Widow and or Genji, their team's gonna have a lot of trouble actually killing people, because Winston D.Va isn't exactly a powerhouse DPS tank combo, and neither is Widow and Genji, right? Like, they have to actually, like, pick people off, which is not necessarily consistent. If you kill one, it makes it so much harder for the other one to actually do enough damage. So they are who we should be looking for. So we just saw them on Infrasight, actually. We actually see a Sombra now. Is that a Sombra or is that Moira? No, Moira's over there. That's Sombra. Okay, so we can see Genji's just coming right at us. It looks like Sombra's going to go around the right-hand side based off where she's going right there, so we... No, I was going to say we want to keep an eye out for Sombra, but Genji's doing this, but then promptly, no fucking fun. You put the fun down, young man. You'll poke someone's eye out. McCree's like, nah. The 2 supports are like, nah, fuck it. They just both push the button. And McCree's like, nah, I had it on lockdown, guys. It's okay. Look, this is the worst combo of support ults to layer over each other. I just really did nothing. So now, we might as well commit to this fight, right? Like, we might as well. Oh, she's gonna teleport away. We actually could have killed Sombra right there. We see where she threw her translocator. Don't go after her. If we just jump over the building, and we're jumping really far in, but we've got Primal Rage, and their DPS are not going to kill us, so I'm not concerned about it. She's just thrown her translocator like so. Don't pay attention to her. She's going to translocate. Just follow it. Follow the translocator, and then kill her when she comes out the other end. Because even if she stealths, you're playing Winston. You'll kill her. So you could have actually killed Sombra right there. You know, alright, you're jumping really far in. Their team comp is like the least threatening team comp to a Winston imaginable. They've got fucking Genji and Sombra as their DPS, right? Like, and we got Primal Rage. Like, you can jump after the Sombra and kill her right there. It's fine. And she'd be a bit staggered as well. Not super staggered, but she'd be kind of staggered. So here we are, killing these boys. They're staggering themselves right now, so we don't really have to go too out of our way to do it. Oh, someone changed to Widow? Yes, Genji has changed to Widow. So, now, Sombra is hard to, like, keep track of, so we're better off just, like, really focusing on Widow. And, unfortunate. Died in our bubble, how sad. Oh, Genji, what the fuck are you doing all the way over there? Dude. I mean, I know what he's doing over there. He's trying to kill people. Oh, fucking, Zen died as well. So, the thing, okay, so we can be doing something more productive than we're doing right now, because we're standing down here just kind of waiting for somebody to come through, but, like, we don't know what the enemy team is doing, right? Like, we want to be trying to keep track of the people that we're trying to kill, right? So we should be in a position where we can, like, peek out and see what Widow is up to, and if we can see Sombra, right? Like, we're just kind of standing over here, not really doing anything. Like, I've got no clue what the enemy team is doing out there, and I would like to know roughly what they're up to right now. So, I know we're filling space, but you want to know what the enemy team are up to, and we're still, like, trying to find Sombra and Widow, right? So we should be looking for them, not just kind of standing off in the alley doing nothing. So, this is basically a waste of time, right? Like, we're not doing anything except giving them a lot of ult charge by doing that, because we're not exactly likely to kill anybody from this position, right? Like, if we can pin somebody in a corner and fuck them in Primal Rage, okay, great, but, like, it's not gonna happen, like, versus this comp out here, is it? Like, so this just ends up giving them a lot of ult charge, because they basically killed us. So, we just use Primal Rage for not much point, and then end up giving them a lot of ult charge. And I mean, yeah, it kind of kills off some of their momentum when they're trying to push in, I guess, but, oh, I like how we turned. Good, yes, golf clap. We turned as we were jumping towards the Widow, so that she couldn't headshot us coming in, that's good. Now, unfortunately, we're still not exactly healthy, right? We shouldn't really jump out at like 300 health, and then we take some damage while we're going in. Now we're like not gonna get back out, right? So if we put our bubble down a little sooner, we might have done. Like, we put it down up here, and then like kind of play around the corner a little bit. We're not likely to get out though. 300 health is like already scary to jump in, and then we take damage as we're going in as well, as kind of you expect to as Winston. So you know, gotta be a little bit more patient, because if you jump in when you're low health as Winston, you just super die. Like, Winston is already a soft tank, you don't need to give the enemy team extra help, right? So, we just totally don't execute this fight well, as, you know, Winston has some execution. Because we can just put our bubble down, and then bubble dance to fight with the D.Va. We don't do that until we're basically already dead. Like, we should have put our bubble down way sooner and started doing the bubble dance with D.Va. Because just, like, toe-to-toe with a D.Va as Winston, she'll kill you. Like, she will. So as long as she isn't, like, already losing her mech regardless. So you gotta put the bubble down and do the bubble dance sooner than that. Oh, look, Moira is gonna oh my god, she's trying to stagger herself so badly right now. She's actually gonna slip away. No, oh, please, kill her. Oh my god, fantastic. Oh my god. Whole team is regrouping right as she dies. Excellent. And she's their main healer, so that's like... Oh, no, they have a Mercy as well, don't they? Sad. There's, you know, she still had to use her res to make that happen, I guess. Now we're going to bully the Moira a little bit. Like, I still wish that we were looking for the DPS a little bit more, because, like, I don't know what they're up to right now, and that concerns me as Winston, because you're the one meant to kill the flankers. Now, we have seen that their tanks just jumped in over there. The thing is that you as Winston don't really do very much to kill tanks, so even if your team is kind of like getting attacked by like a D.Va or a Winston, there's usually something better you can do with your time than trying to kill them, because you don't bring much to killing a tank, so if you can just kill their supports while their tanks are diving, that's usually more productive. So we get spooked off because some of their teams start to regroup back here. You could actually probably still pull this one off, because Sombra's almost dead, and Moira didn't fade this way, right? Like, Moira faded a different direction. I think she faded the opposite direction. Like, if you just jump on her right now, like jump melee, she's basically already dead. And then you can put the ball down around to shield you from D.Va, then you can do the bubble dance with D.Va. You can probably burst the Sombra to death before Moira gets over here to heal her. And if you can kill Sombra, that's better than not killing Sombra. Because D.Va takes a while to kill you, especially if you're doing the dance with your bubble. So you could have probably bursted the Sombra to death there before Moira would be able to heal her. Winston is a hero that's all about... He's a very opportunistic hero, right? Like, if you have an opportunity to kill somebody, you really want to take advantage of that opportunity. So, I wanted to see if Widow changed to Genji, because I thought I saw Genji. No, I see Tracer now. So, Tracer's, we're not so good at killing Tracer, but we can still zone Tracer, which is important. Like, we're doing a very good job of harassing their supports, but the problem is that their supports are Moira and Mercy. So as long as they're relatively close to each other, we can't kill one of them, because they'll heal each other. And, like, I've not really known what their DPS have been up to for most of this game, and, like, killing the flanking DPS is very much, like, Winston's thing. Well, look, we were there for that one. So, they're pushing in. This is their last push. We've got a lot of ultimates. Like, you might notice that we have a lot of ultimates. Zen died. He's almost certainly got Transcendence right now. So, like, even if things start going badly out here, somehow he's got Transcendence. There's no way. They can't do it. Like, we have a lot of ultimates. They can't do it. We didn't even have to use Primal Rage. So, easy money. Like, they had to take the fight, but there was no way they were ever gonna win that fight, right? It was very much one of those games where the enemy team was helping us out quite a bit, because, like, honestly, if one of their tanks changed to something like... basically, because of the way our comp was, if they changed to, like, Soldier, Reinhardt, Reaper, and another tank, they would probably just push in and kill us, right? Because we had Widow, we had Bastion towards the end, but for a lot of it we had Widow, McCree, Genji. So if they had, like, Reinhardt, Winston, Soldier, or McCree, and Reaper, they would just be able to walk in. We would not be able to do anything as Winston, because jumping into them would be certain death for us. So we wouldn't be able to do anything because the solo tank, and then they, behind the Reinhardt, just walk in to the McCree and the McCree, Genji, Widow, and they won't be able to do anything to stop them. Unless Widow and Genji are absolute gods, which is always the caveat that you have to attach, is that, like, if they are gods, it won't matter. But they could have countered our comp relatively easily. It's just that takes more coordination and than people want to put in, and it also usually means that people have to swallow their ego and change heroes, which people don't like to do. Even if the change would be objectively better, people don't like to change heroes because then they feel like they lost, and nobody likes to feel like they lost. But, yeah, like, Ryan, Winston, and then, like, Reaper, McCree would have really fucked up our team comp, but they didn't want to do that, so very helpful, very helpful. So, in the email, we had a couple of questions that were kind of about the playstyle. Can you talk about my positioning and decisions I made? basically, I would have liked if we were more actively looking. This is the decision-making side more than positioning. I would have liked if we were looking more for the DPS, like the flanking DPS they had, because we spent a lot of time bullying the supports, and, fair enough, bullying the supports is always fun, but if we just, kill the flanking DPS and the Widowmaker, who we're really good at killing as Winston, they are unlikely to win the fight with just widowed Winston D.Va, so I would have preferred, especially since their supports were so difficult for us to kill, because if they're in the vicinity of each other, we won't kill either of them. We will occupy them, yes, but I would rather just, kill the DPS. But, positioning, we do a good job of bullying the supports, but I think bullying the DPS would have been a more productive use of our time in this game. Positioning, basically fine. No, we never did anything, egregious, so, and even, the one time we went out of the choke point, it was fine to do so, because they were respawning. Also, jumping at the Widow, and we turned around as we were flying, I was so happy. I played conservative because in the last vid I died a lot. Dying less is very important, especially if you're playing at your team's only tank, and an aggressive tank such as Winston. Because don't forget, it doesn't matter how much pressure you're applying, if you die, all pressure is immediately relieved. Should I be more aggressive or more passive? I think, in general, it was a pretty good balance. You were passive when there wasn't really an opportunity to go out, and, as soon as you saw an opportunity, you jumped on it, and, I don't think you need to worry about playing more passively or more aggressively. It felt like it was a pretty good mix. Generally being passive, yes, but jumping in when an opportunity was seen, so, missed a couple of opportunities, which we talked about as they happened, but I think in general it was a pretty good mix of passive and aggressive. Basically, my one thing is I just think killing the DPS was more productive in this game, and we didn't spend a lot of time actively trying to do that, which would have made it very hard for them to win. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you did, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. If you felt I answered any of your questions from the email inadequately, please let me know, and I will try to expand further. If you haven't already, you can join our Discord and ask questions more directly and have a conversation about them. And I hope you found the video helpful.